that a clone is an identical copy of another. But it's not an identical copy. It's like twins are the same person. Good morning. My name is Gabriela Quiroz, and I'm the second speaker of the proposition team. I will refer to the uses and advantages of the therapeutic cloning. One of the most important points of genetic cloning is the ability to make and produce repair kits and solutions for damaged organs. The procedure is very simple. Cells are extracted from healthy tissue of the same person, make them grow up, and inject them back to the damaged organ. We can also create repair kits with clone organs, so in case of damage and no possibility of a fix, an exact clone of the organ that the person used to have could be transplanted into him. This could eliminate incompatibility issues or organ rejection. If we take into account the moral and ethical part, cloning is incredibly more ethical than transplant in certain countries like China. According to the Chinese Deputy Minister of Health, approximately 95% of all organs used for transplantation are from executed prisoners. Isn't this incredibly immoral? If capital punishment is itself unethical, imagine how it is to get every single organ from executed prisoners. Cloning can help scientific research to find medicines. We want to introduce a new concept, human therapeutic cloning. We're going to explain this difficult idea by explaining how it might work for us. Imagine a loved one will live a disease. The only treatment available today is to have a new transplant of a new liver or a liver cell. In the therapeutic cloning approach, the patient's mother, for example, will donate an unfertilized egg, not an embryo, but an egg. Just a single cell with the potential to save a life. Mom's sick daughter would also donate a regular cell, perhaps just a single chick cell. All cells contain DNA, which gives them the ability to reproduce. But cloners have discovered that if one removes the DNA from mom's egg cell, producing an empty cell, and replace it with her daughter's DNA, the newly produced cell can survive. So, the cell is no longer like the mother's cell, but like her sick child's cell. The process is called cloning because the new cell created in the lab has the ability to copy itself again and again before turning itself into the liver cell that your loved one so desperately needs. Taking into account all the things said during this debate, how can you realize that genetic cloning can save a life, your life, or your family's life? Thank you.
Thank you. And second speaker for the opposition team. Very good.
Excelente. Ojalá no oír información de nuevo.
Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, and jury. My name is Pablo Álvarez, and I want to show you through my arguments that genetic cloning must be banned. Why clone a man? What can genetic cloning contribute to? Come back to life to a human being? Becoming more? I'm sorry, but cloning won't achieve this one. First, because any technique can avoid our death, as well as believing that an individual and its clone constitute a unity, is an illusion, as happens with identical twins, because they are different persons and each of them has their own experiences. Could we resort to cloning hiding the amount of medical and moral problems it entails? As my mate already said, many of the surviving clones are plagued with serious psychological and genetic problems. Clones are often born with severe respiratory and circulatory defects, malformations, or immune dysfunction. Clones, although scientists at Duke University suggested that human clones might not experience the problems encountered in cloned animals, the risks remain very high and unpredictable. Is it reliable? Many scientists believe that, at least in the near future, experiments in human cloning would involve many failures, miscarriages, stillbirth, and the birth of deformed babies. They agree that human reproductive cloning should not be permitted before the scientific and technical issues have been clarified. On July 31st, 2001, the U.S. House of Representatives voted to institute a total federal ban on human cloning. The Human Cloning Prohibition Act outlaws the process known as somatic cell nuclear transfer using human cells. Although this process can be used for reproductive cloning, as in the case of dolly the sheep, the technique can also be used for non-reproductive cloning or therapeutic cloning. On the contrary, non-reproductive cloning is legal in the United Kingdom. Since the early 90s, therapeutic cloning is permitted in order to generate healthy replacement for diseased tissues and organs. However, while human cloning and human stem cells research are actually technically distinct, these issues have become inseparable because both involve the use of human embryos. President George W. Bush, who opposes cloning humans for research and reproductive purpose, has taken the position that, like a snowflake, each of these embryos is unique with the unique genetic potential of an individual human being. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now the third speaker from the proposition team,